Hi friends. Today I would like to talk a little bit about the different types of yoga and do a short restorative yoga practice. So there are many different styles of yoga, and everything that we are doing at the studio falls under the Hatha yoga category. And Hatha can be translated as sun and moon. And the idea with Hatha yoga is that we are balancing the sun and moon energies through our practice. And so a lot of our vinyasa practice with our sun salutations tends to be more of that sun energy, being very heated and active, and more of the masculine energy. And it's good to balance that out with more restorative and yin poses, which tend to be cooler, calming, more of the feminine energy. And so there are different qualities in both the sun and the moon aspects of our Hatha yoga practice, and we have all of these qualities within us. So the idea is to balance these energies through our yoga practice. So we don't want to have a practice that is mostly the sun salutations and all heated and vinyasa and that masculine energy. We need the calming, cooling, feminine yin or moon energies to balance that out. So it's good to have both in our yoga practice. And for our restorative and yin postures, we use our props. So having blocks, bolsters, blankets available helps us in our practice, because we're using those props to support us and letting our bodies and our minds get to a deeper level of relaxation. So it's a more passive practice where we use the props supporting us, we connect to our breath, and get deeper into our muscles and our tissues. And so today we're gonna do just a short practice with a couple of different poses. So we're gonna begin in our table on our hands and our knees. I often like to use a blanket underneath of my knees. So just getting a little bit more support and cushion here for your knees. And as you find that tabletop position, feel that your weight is spread evenly through your hands. You have your shoulders over your wrists and your knees are underneath of your hips. So you're lengthening in your spine. And so maybe taking a few circles here, warming up in your hips and your back. You can make these circles as big or as small as you'd like. You can take those circles in both directions. And then tucking your toes under, drop your belly, lift your head, inhale, exhale, release your feet, round your back, scoop your belly. I'm just taking a few cat and cow stretches here, just really warming up our spine. And then shifting our weight forward into our kneeling plank. So just building a little bit of heat and feeling strength in our upper body and in our core. And just shift forward and back a few times. And then dropping your hips like you would for upward facing dog. So getting a nice stretch through the front of your body. And then sending our hips back to our heels as we take balasana, taking our child's pose. So as we look at child's pose, there are different options, and remembering that child's pose is our resting pose that we can come to at any time throughout any of your yoga practices. So maybe you have your knees to the edges of the mat as you walk your hands out in front of you. Maybe you have your knees closer together and arms by your side in more of a shell pose. And then we can also use our props here for a restorative child's pose using our blocks and our bolsters. So it depends on what feels good to you. You can lift the blocks up at any level. You can use the bolster, and just kind of finding that restorative, comfortable resting pose, whatever feels good for you. So taking a couple of deep breaths here. So in our restorative poses, we can be here anywhere from 3 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on what the different postures are. And with this being a shortened practice today, just giving you a few ideas of some things that you can do at home. Just do what feels good for you. Part of the thing that can be uncomfortable for us in our restorative or yin practices sometimes is that stillness, having to be okay with stillness in our bodies and stillness in our minds. And just know that we can never completely turn our minds off, and that is okay. So try to just observe those thoughts as they wander through and let them pass. So no judgments, no attachments, just being an observer of those thoughts without holding on to them. And it helps to come back to your breath. So as you're in this child's pose here, thinking of I am breathing in and I am breathing out. If you have a mantra or intention that you have set for your practice, maybe coming back to that mantra or intention and repeating that. I am peaceful, I am calm, I am relaxed, whatever it is, and just using those mantras to help you as your mind starts to wander. So our child's pose, balasana, in any of those forms, wide-legged child's pose, knees together, using the props to support us in a restorative child's pose. Just finding that pose is very comforting and nurturing for you. So that is one that I definitely suggest and recommend doing whenever you feel is needed. And so coming back into that table, opening up in our side body. So inhale, reaching right arm up, exhale through. I like to do this a couple times, just moving through my side. And then as you're ready, threading the needle, rest on your shoulder. So different options here as you rest on your shoulder. You can bring your shoulder to the blanket. You can reach that arm out in front, maybe taking a half bind. So just feeling that nice stretch through your upper back and shoulder in this gentle twist. I'm taking a few deep breaths here, and then we'll go to the other side. So as you come back to that table, inhale, left arm to the sky, exhale, feel that gentle torso rotation. We'll do 2 more. And then threading the needle as you rest on your shoulder here. Again, maybe taking that right arm out in front of you, maybe taking a half bind. You can draw some circles on the ceiling to loosen up in your shoulder. Again, remembering our yoga practice is a personal practice where we want to listen to our body and honor our body by doing what feels best for you. So just taking another breath or 2 here as we come out of that threading the needle. And then having a seat, I like to lift my hips up on the blanket, so having that support, lifting hips up, and taking our legs out. So we can have our wide-legged V with those legs out, and grabbing my props here, or we could have the soles of our feet together. We'll take a look at both. So as you bring your legs out to the side, just feel that your toes are pointing up, knees are pointing up. We're releasing and letting go in our hips and our back. And this could be an intense stretch right here, okay? And so as we make our way into a supported forward fold, using however many props you need to assist you, as you start to fold forward over the props, you can bring your head to one side, and then just after a few minutes, taking it to the other side. If legs out to the side doesn't feel good to you, you can bring the soles of your feet together here as well as you fold forward. Again, use your props to lift up as much as you need. As you're breathing and settling into this pose, you may find that you can remove some of the props or go a little bit deeper into these poses. And we do that through our breath, letting our breath take over with allowing there to be more space and releasing tension and tightness. So not feeling that we're trying to force anything, just settling in at your pace. So taking a supported forward fold, energetically those forward folds are calming to our bodies and our minds. So having that be useful for us. So taking a few more deep breaths here. And if you're doing this at home, maybe having a timer set for holding those poses for a few minutes. This being a shortened practice today, we're not going to hold them as long. We're just giving you some ideas of things that you can do at home. So taking our Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. So this is one of my favorite restorative postures. It is a heart opener. It also just helps with releasing in your chest, your shoulders, releasing in your hips and your back. And so again, we may need to adjust with those props to find what feels good for you. So I take one block, lift it up higher for my head, one block for the length of my spine, and then I use the bolster on top. And I like to sit on the blanket. Sitting on the blanket lifts your hips up and allows for you to lay back a little bit more comfortably. So as you bring your back to the props, you're gonna let your spine lengthen along the props. You can have your legs extended out in front, or you can have the soles of your feet together. I will cue to do both in our classes, just seeing what feels best for you. So just let your spine lengthen as you lay back here. You can have your hands rest on your legs. You can bring them out to the sides. You can have one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, just connecting to your breath and feeling grateful for your practice, grateful for your body, your mind, your spirit. Again, staying here as long as you'd like. And then playing with those different options of legs extended or soles of your feet together. And as we breathe here in this heart opener, I like to think of inhaling peace, exhaling any worry, fear, anxiety, inhaling love, exhaling gratitude. Maybe reflecting on any areas in your life where you need to open your heart more towards yourself or towards others. Inhaling compassion and exhaling acceptance. So I hope you find some of these poses useful for you and that you can take a few minutes doing them each day. Thank you for being here with me today. Namaste.